Hi guys, let's roll. Image, my kitchen window. It's dark out tonight, so there's not a lot to see. So uh, let's go see what Sargon of Akkad is saying. There he is, Sargon of Akkad. Like Sargon. Can't remember his real name now. Escapes me. What's he talking about? I think he's talking about Elon Musk being super based. Yeah? Should we have a listen?
Has anyone been paying attention to just how radical Elon Musk has been on Twitter recently? I don't know whether you've noticed, but he's tweeting some pretty hardline things. Now, this is by far the sort of softest of it. Why is a false history of slavery taught in American schools? Great question. Great question. Why have we allowed leftists to educate our children, create a false narrative of what happened? And it's not like you can't point to the narrative and say the actual narrative of what has happened and say, well, there are bad things. Of course, there are bad things in there, but not uniquely evil things. And that's what the left have been trying to do. Create the narrative that the left and white people in particular are somehow uniquely evil throughout world history. Now, this is just not true. White people are not uniquely evil. Lots of evil has happened long before white people were anything anyone ever talked about anywhere, in fact. Really terrible things have happened all over the world, and most of the time they just continued. And occasionally you would get some king or prince or lawgiver who would be.
Well, you'll have to find out about that lawgiver later. Let's see what else Elon Musk is saying. Pause. Okay, we carry on.
Tarash here has said, is a nation a specific people united by heritage, tradition, and shared values? Or is it any arbitrary entity defined by paperwork? This is the core political issue of our time, which is absolutely correct, and Elon has clearly picked his side. Members of a nation must have a common culture, or it is not a nation. I agree.
And so do I, Sargon. So do I. And I'm sure the viewers of, what's the name of our channel? Paul Morris Rotker agree as well. Right, lads? Right? Good. Let's see what else is happening. Let's jump in here.
It's deeply weird the absolute top priority for a lot of American and European politicians is bringing in millions of unvetted third world migrants. They could have shut down right wing populism entirely by compromising on this issue, but they refuse. And Elon thinks this is about importing a left wing voting bloc that depends on government handouts. Now, that is true on one level, but on another level, it's also about the overall mission, which is destroying the European nations. It is destroying the United States, destroying Canada, destroying Australia, destroying Western Europe. They are on the universalist position that any amount of parochial feeling towards one's own nation is essentially an inevitable path towards Nazism, and so destroying the nations prevents that from ever happening again. And so it is true that they do want to use these people as voting blocks in order to gain power and leverage themselves to be able to further destroy the nation, but primarily it's actually about the destruction of the nation. And he's arriving at some very important points that are inflection points. When you decide that murder is much worse than words, suddenly all of the words that they use against you mean very little, which I think is very good and admirable that he's arrived there, because a lot of people don't arrive there. Piers Morgan hasn't arrived there. Like, none of our politicians, apart from Rupert Lowe, have arrived there.
I'm glad he said Rupert Lowe because we'll be moving on to him shortly. What Elon was talking about is quite interesting because earlier there is a video I really want to make about President Trump, Keir Starmer, and President Putin and European leaders. But it was that complex, my mind boggled and I thought, oh, I'll try it tomorrow. Let's move on. That poor girl. That poor girl. This bit is good, isn't it?
Out of your pocket to house people who would rape your children. This might be a blunt way to put it, but it's simply the truth. Yeah, it is. It's, as Elon points out, the brutal truth. You are paying for your own replacement from people who will literally put you in jail if you complain about the potential rapists that they house next to you. Like this, genuinely, this is true.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you there, Sargon. Forwards. Okay, well, I'll leave a link to what Sargon is saying in the description, and then you can go over and listen to everything. But he is right. The main thrust of his video is, has anyone noticed how based Elon is now? Yeah, thank God for Elon Musk. Let's go see what Rupert Lowe is doing, is that? Dear, dear Rupert. Rupert Lowe decries empty commons during immigration safety speech. Yeah, that was shameful. I watched it. On Tuesday evening, independent MP Rupert Lowe highlighted the rape of a schoolgirl in Leamington Spa by two Afghan teenagers who arrived via small boat crossings. He questioned why such perpetrators remain in the UK, calling it a political choice, while citing other cases to argue women and girls face greater risks now. The sparse attendance of just a handful of MPs drew sharp criticism, underscoring concerns over asylum vetting and public safety amid over 40,000 small boat arrivals this year. I don't know if any of you guys saw the video of where the two Afghanis frog marched the girl through the park. It was disturbing to watch, really disturbing. Anyhow, let's see. Tommy Robinson is come in. Tommy Robinson. Bit sorry he missed out on that meeting with Piers Morgan. Uh, he was due to go to the same event as Piers Morgan, but Tommy cried off because he had to go to Norway to publicise his book. And I think I'd rather have had a meeting with Piers Morgan than go to Norway. But there you go. It was his choice. Anyhow, Tommy Robinson. Rupert Lowe gave a speech in Parliament today about invaders who were attacking our women and children. Just look how empty the room was. This is how much the rest of them care about it. Yeah. Tommy Robinson, Afghan invader, jailed for brutally raping a 15-year-old British schoolgirl in the park, charted his journey across Europe on TikTok. British patriots, they're all starting to show that stuff. Rupert Lowe, oh yeah. Rupert Lowe, I was certainly disappointed with the MP turnout at my debate last night on illegal migrants, particularly when such high-profile migrant rapes were discussed. I want to thank the Conservative and Northern Irish MPs who showed support and questioned the Minister. Well done to the Ulster MPs. I thought that heckling for the one Labour MP was his name, something Kane, revolting man, attacking him. I wonder if there's anything, if we've got the speech here, if we can play it. Not that. Here we go. Should we have a go and see if we can play it, guys?
The scale of illegal immigration and its impact on our country is simply not understood in this Parliament, nor do most members even care. British people are genuinely scared. Women are frightened to go into their towns alone. Parents are terrified to let their children walk to school. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The British people are not stupid. They can see their communities radically changing, and they can feel their streets becoming more unfamiliar, more dangerous, more menacing. All whilst the Home Office deliberately conceals the true extent of the change from our citizens. I am contacted by dozens and dozens of women who genuinely fear for their lives, and they feel ignored by this place. ignored by those who are supposed to represent and protect them, ignored and abandoned, thrown to the wolves in pursuit of some sick, multicultural experiment that is being forced on our people. One that has very real-world consequences. What happened just yesterday? 2 Afghan illegal migrants jailed for raping a schoolgirl. The footage exists. She filmed herself during the rape. Even the men's barrister warned it would lead to disorder if it was released, as it was so horrific. "You're going to rape me," the girl cried as she was dragged away. She screamed for help and begged not to be taken. One of the migrants gagged her with his hand. The Afghan men forced her to perform sex acts in a secluded area. She is heard screaming for help. She calls for her friends. She wants to go home. She's pleading for help from passers-by. None came. Can you imagine her horror, her fear, her desperation? Think if it was your daughter. How would that make you feel? Honestly, think about that.
Would the Honourable give way?
I will give way.
He is making a very powerful introduction to his speech. He and I share profound concerns regarding the scale of illegal migrants in the UK and their ability to arrive here and disappear. The case he speaks of yesterday, the most disturbing thing for me is that we are being gaslit by the media because these 2 Afghani boat arrivals were described as being from Leamington. They're not from Leamington. Would you agree with me that women and girls are less safe in this United Kingdom now, today, than they were 5 years ago because of this race?
I thank the Honourable Member for her intervention. I completely agree with what you're saying. The girl was then pushed to her knees before being brutally raped. Another, one of too many. Last year, a 35-year-old Iranian small boat migrant raped a 15-year-old girl in an alleyway. He was known to police in Germany, where he was convicted of assault offences. He told the girl she could be his sex doll and that he wanted to, and I quote, fuck her, before dragging her down an alleyway, forcing her to her knees outside a secluded doorway, and then raping her. The poor girl's anguished mother later asked, why was he in this country? A question millions and millions of British people are asking. Why are they here? These are unimaginable horrors, but they are happening right across our country every day, brutally and relentlessly. This House may not like to hear this, but it must listen. It must understand, it must digest. This is a political choice, and it's one that this Parliament has made. These are men who should never have been in our country to begin with. They should have been detained, and they should have been deported, indiscriminately and without question. They weren't. They were housed, fed and cared for at taxpayer expense, released onto our streets, allowed to roam freely. Thousands and thousands of them, unvetted foreign men from barbaric cultures that have no place in our communities. Words cannot adequately describe my disgust for what has been forced onto the British people. The scale.
And there you go, guys. Powerful stuff. My only comment is, I hope any of those passerbys, if they heard that girl's screams for help and never went, I hope they rot in hell. I think this video by Rupert Lowe should be played 3 times a day on all news stations. Every person in the country should be made to watch Rupert Lowe's video. Disgusting, guys. Disgusting. I'm going to pause a sec. And where are the politicians? Where are the MPs? Every single person should be asking their constituency MP, why they weren't there to listen to that speech. Oh well, guys, let's take a last look at our channel before we put it to bed for the night, shall we? How are we doing over there? 1,362 subscribers. Excellent. Making good progress. How's our later? Sorry about the sound on that video, guys. It'll teach me to go experimenting. Yeah, we're getting some good responses. Dear sir, we feel your pain. You're in America. We are watching. Nice to have support from America. Oh, someone likes like me calling Ben Beeb Uncle Ben. Oh dear. Summary 59,000. Let's have a look at the analytics. Oh, it's doing. Oh, yeah, here we are over here. How's our latest content doing? Okay, the last video with the bad sound has had 284 views, 6.6. People are choosing to watch this video as often as your other videos. The click-through rate through CTR is looking good. Average view time 501. As you know, anything between 2 and 4 on those is good, so that's excellent. Freedom Dad is still riding high, 28,000 views. We've got a lot of followers now, guys, or subscribers from Ulster, and they're most welcome. Also starting to receive support from the Republic of Ireland. Oof. I'm going to have to talk to some of them guys down there and in Ulster. Okay, guys, I think that's about it. You've been listening to Paul Morris, the Green Arrow, wishing you a good night. Good night.